morning and welcome at ASYS TV. We are here in the international city of Rabat during the 8th Africa Student and Youth Summit. I'm really pleased to receive here with us Giuseppina Tucci, which is the Secretary General, Organizing Bureau of European School Student Union, OBESSU, from Italy. So we will talk about the new culture of work for the future of work, soft versus hard skills. So welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much to participate during this Africa Student and Youth Summit. So I would like you first to introduce us the OBESSU, which is a huge organization in Europe.
Yes, so OBESSU is an organization that represents different student unions on the secondary level, so school students, so people that are between 13 and 20 usually, both in the general and in the vocational sector, so in both sectors. We represent 30 countries all over Europe, and we are completely student-led, which makes us particularly unique. And we are a bit all over Europe. So.
Do you think that why we didn't bring those students during the summit? Because now it's like more than 22, 23, but those students could
Yes.
participate to this summit and bring a recommendation, for example?
Yes, I think that would be extremely interesting for our European students to come and meet also with their African fellows and discuss together the future of education. Right now here there is me, and there is also one of our board members who is elected by those students to represent their position. So somehow we are bringing the perspective, hopefully.
So what is you're expecting from this summit? Are you there for bringing your recommendation, to participate to the debates, or to see what's happening in Africa?
I think we're here really to listen and to see what's going on in Africa. Africa is a very close continent to us, and somehow we lack a bit of dialogue with our colleagues in the African continent. We think we really need a bit more of cooperation and co-creating the future of education between globally, let's say. So we cannot do it if we don't come and listen to what the students in Africa think. So for us, it's really about coming and seeing what's the reality without, contributing a bit with our perspectives, but really more with open ears and a bit this attitude of learning from the African reality.
So during your expertise and your experience in Europe, do you think there is a lot of things could be duplicated here and could be works, or do you think there is a really African models that can be developed and built with all the organization?
I think, for example, a summit like this in Europe is lacking. We do our own general assemblies, we do our own event, but this summit for me has really opened my eyes and inspired me. So I think this is something that we can take back to Europe, how to create a bigger political discussion between different youth organizations. And I think a lot of our other youth organizing and student organizing is very similar between Europe and Africa. It happens on different levels, it happens on a different degree of political engagement, but I think that our realities are similar yet very different because of our different cultures, backgrounds, and so we really just need to understand how to make these differences matter instead of trying to continue figure out if we can borrow something from each other.
There is something equivalent from your organization here in Africa, or not yet? That you can inspire maybe?
Yes, absolutely. We would be very happy to inspire something like what we do. We know that the All African Student Union represents also in certain countries, they also represent secondary students, but hopefully in the longer run we will be able to have an independent, democratic school student representation also in Africa. We would really love that.
So for all the young people who are watching us on the digital platform, what is your advice to them to think and to think about the changing in Africa?
I think it's really about never underestimating their own value, because we heard this morning in the panel on the future of work, where can we develop soft skills? And for me it is important that we realize that we, as youth organizations, as student organizations, we are developing the soft skills. So we can be our own providers of skills, we can be our own providers of many things, we can empower each other, we can support each other. and we can learn from each other. So really on the move, come to Europe, we come to Africa. Let's make sure that our exchanges are relevant and they are really built on solidarity and on exchange.
My last question is about the protection of the internet. We see a lot of abuse. What kind of solution there existing now to protect the younger students about what we think we find on internet?
I think that's a very relevant question that the education systems need to respond to. We need to change curricula and to make sure that media literacy becomes a part of formal education. And we also need to give value to our organizations. Again, in Europe, OBESSU, but also ASYS, and I'm sure that also in Africa, ASYS does the same. We provide training to our students on how to make an aware use of internet, how to promote campaigns against hate, against discrimination, because internet is a wild place, and we as young people are a very big portion of the users. So it is our responsibility to make sure that we keep it safe, but it is also the government's responsibility and the education system's responsibility to make sure that we have the skills to understand the internet, to understand what the news in the internet, for example, to contrast fake news, which are still a very big problem everywhere in the world. So really, let's say that this is a very big priority.
Thank you very much, Giuseppina Tucci, Secretary General, Organizing Bureau of European School Student Union, OBESSU, from Italy. Hope that you have a great time during this Africa Student and Youth Summit, and hope to see you soon in also Morocco to discover our country.
Loving it. Thank you very much.
You.